All right. So today we're going to be looking at a few defensive slash midfield situations, scenarios that we were caught in these last tournaments that we were a part of. I think it was an NAPC tournament. In the first few plays that we're going to go over, it's it's the game that we lost and got kicked out of the knockout rounds. I think it was a round of 16 versus Pro Busters, and they actually went on to win the tournament. So I think it's really useful to go back and look at this footage from just like a few days ago because we're going to be facing a lot of the same teams in the tournament tonight, and in any TBL or NAPC tournaments, we're probably going to be facing, if not the exact same teams, teams are going to be trying to mimic what these teams do. Because, like I said, this team that ended up beating us in the knockout rounds went on and won the entire thing. They won the whole tournament. And I'm pretty sure they did it by doing a lot of these same tactics that they used against us. So we're going to go ahead and look at it, talk about how we can stop that, what we can do better to prevent these goals from being so easy for them to get. Because, as y'all guys know, in the knockout rounds, we got scored on 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and look at the first goal and see what happened. All right. So right here, as you can see, the ball's been intercepted by the opposing team. But right before this play starts, we actually had the ball on kickoff. Had the ball on kickoff, passed it to our RDM, and our RDM, it looks like from here that he was trying to pass the ball to the MC, the cam, but I don't know why the striker. You see how he's in between the cam and the right winger? That that forward, that's the striker right there. He shouldn't be so deep. Because he is so deep, I think the pass locks on to him instead of the MC, and it gets intercepted right away in the first minute of the game. So this is why we start off first minute getting counterattacked, and as you can also see, before this play has even developed, there's been a few things that we did wrong. One, the striker checked down way too far. He should be trying to make runs, pull that defense apart, try to make it a little bit wider in the midfield instead of crashing down. And also over here on the left side, you see how up and to the left, or actually, they're mainly just shifted way too far to the left. It's not even that they're up too high, but the LDM and the left back on the screen, it's going to say ML for the LDM and DL for the left back. Look how far up these guys are. Whenever the game just started, and we're passing it down the right side, trying to get something going, and these guys are making runs. You can see they're wanting like getting behind the defense, and we should really leave that only for our left wing, our forward. This is literally the first minute of the game. So already strikers too deep, LDM left back are pushing up way too high. They should be still covering their space because we're not even pushing up through their area. We're pushing up to the right side. So they should be letting the right back and the RDM trying to go up, and they should be the ones staying a little bit deeper. But that's not what happens, and we end up in this bad position right here on the counterattack. So that's where we start the play, is with the other team having the ball, steps right in front of our striker that's checking too far deep, intercepts it, plays it right to his teammate that's waiting on him. And right here, I think we even had a chance to maybe still prevent this goal. We definitely didn't have the numbers that we should have had because we had our left back and LDM a little bit too far wide. After he plays the first pass, his teammate RDM tries to recover and push up. The right back sees what's happening, tries to recover, and the left back sees what's happening, tries to recover. But what you're going to end up seeing, or if you look at the footage, what you'll end up noticing is that because the left back's so high up and almost taking like the left winger's position, he's not able to track back, and he doesn't end up affecting the play. The right back tracks back and I guess somewhat covers this other forward, but they still end up scoring because, like I say, the danger is always through the middle. And that's exactly what they do. They go right down the middle after the first pass. His teammate that's right next to him is making a run, Second pass goes to that teammate. The left center back is all alone because the left back's so far wide. So he thinks he has to step and win this ball, overcommits, and then all the attacker had to do after he got the ball, after the second pass, this little squiggly line, he turns around, goes into that open space because the left center back overcommitted, and boom, right on top of the box, takes a power shot, scores. That's the first goal. That's in the first 2 minutes of the game. You can see the right center back, I'm trying to recover, but because we don't have the left back in position, because we don't have the LDM deep enough to try and affect this play, just me and the left center back are trying to do as much as we can, and we end up giving them too much space, and we have to really be ready for these power shots at the top of the box because it looks like that's what the meta is going to be in these competitions. So we got to get used to not giving the ball up in the midfield too early. Right here, this was the RDM's, I guess you could say, mistake. Maybe you could say that he was trying to patch to the MC and the striker just checked in too deep, but this is why it's so dangerous to lose the ball in the midfield because it leads straight to counterattack, and more times than not, it's going to be a goal when you're going against good opposition. All right, and now this is the second goal, and this happened literally only 30 seconds later, 2 minutes in game. They end up getting a corner, and as you can see, once the corner's played in, all of our defenders, everybody who's in the box is pushing up, like trying to get on the counterattack. There's no red cones. You see, there's no red cones coming short for the short pass or on top of the box besides one of them. But for some reason, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people over here in the first post area guarding nobody, just guarding this random green space. That's no threat. And then what do we have in the second post? We have 1, 2, 3 unmarked runners. 3 unmarked runners trying to stuff this area, waiting for any rebound so that they can get a goal off a deflection or something. And that's exactly what ends up happening. They play the ball in, first post to some tall guy. The center back who's marking him gives him way too much space, doesn't put enough pressure. All he has to do is just flick it backwards like we've been trying to practice. So, I mean, this is really something we got to work on as the team, is defending it and also trying to make sure that we know how to run this type of play because it's going to be used by these teams that win tournaments. They're going to be using these cheesy little plays. And we got to be ready for it. But this case, we weren't. There's literally 4 attackers versus our 1 goalkeeper. He has no chance. It gets flicked back. First guy takes a shot. Keeper makes a miraculous save, but there's 2 other guys right there to follow up and finish it off. We go ahead and get scored on, and we're down 0-2 in the first 4 minutes of the game. 2 defensive errors that led to us being down at this point. It wasn't anything but our own mistakes that led to those goals. And now here's the third goal that they scored. And this is something that I want to focus on and I want everyone to pay attention to, is that in this goal and a few more situations I'm going to show, scenarios, they chip the ball up to one specific target man. It's either a winger or usually a striker that's like 6'2" with aerial plus, and they chip it to him. So what happens here is we're pushing down the right side. Everyone's probably pushing a little bit too high. As you can see, the LDM, the RDM, they're not covering each other's behind. They're both pressing up, and they just get split right down the middle once we lose the ball. Both of them get split, and then look at all this space behind the CDMs for them to attack. And then they have runners as well, ready for that counterattack. So we got to be a little bit careful with our positioning at CDM, because sometimes, as you can see right here, we have both of our CDMs pushing up and no one covering the midfield, which is where the threat is and which is where the goals are going to come from if we don't cover that space. So both defensive mid a little bit too high up. They get split. Ball gets played to the guy that's a little bit further at the top of the halfway line or the halfway circle. And then his teammate, the one that's closer, he lets the ball go through and he makes the run. He's the target man. So they're already working this out. He knows I'm gonna let this ball go through. I'm the target man. I'm gonna run up and header this. It's exactly what he does. Runs up. His teammate that received the ball chips it to him, and the same guy that made the second pass. So here's the first pass, splits the CDMs. The second pass goes to this guy in the midfield. So the guy that made that second pass, now he ends up making a run, knowing that his teammate's about to header the ball down to him. His teammate's not going to try and take a touch and dribble because he's too big to outrun our center backs. He's going to pass it down to one of these smaller guys that's making a run. And that's exactly what happens. Ball gets chipped on the third pass. The guy who made the second pass is making an overlapping run. Ball gets played down to him, right to his feet. It's a pass, you can tell. And then he runs right through the defense. Everybody's overshifted. Power shot, goal. So this is also something maybe keepers got to be careful for, is the fact that this team that ended up winning the tournament is using power shot on all their forwards, and they're trying to get outside of the box volley power shots. So we really got to be careful, not giving up that chance. But even then, maybe goalkeepers can do something to try and negate those goals if they know that they're coming. So the defense needs to do better. I won't put it on the goalkeepers at all, because what we didn't even go over in this play is the defensive movement. What ends up happening is right center back, which is me, I end up pressing way too high up. I want to intercept this second pass and not let them get forward. Because of that, there's all the space in behind. The left center back tracking back, trying to cover that space, but I leave him all alone. The right back's even tracking back, trying to win this header. They both don't get to it because you can tell this other team has definitely worked on this before. They know what they're doing. So they both don't get to it. And then the little guy that's making the run, overlapping run, he's scot-free. He doesn't even have to do anything. He just runs right through. So maybe if the right back wouldn't have overcommitted to this header, and if he would have just followed the run from the little guy, maybe he could have intercepted that pass. So that's something that maybe defense could have done better. And the left center back, I don't have any blame for them. I think I made the mistake by pressing up too high. I should have realized that that's what they were trying to do, and I didn't, and it ended up working, and we paid for it. So I won't put the blame on anybody specifically. I'm just trying to talk about things we can do better. Let's go ahead and go to this fourth play. This is actually all these first four goals, first four scenarios. They're all from the knockout round that we lost. So this is versus a team that goes to win the tournament, a team that we got to be prepared for to face again if we want to compete. And we got to be prepared for these plays, these first four plays I've showed y'all. That's exactly what they kept trying the entire game. And you can see right here, they did the exact same thing they did on the last one. They found their target man. So this ball is played from their goalkeeper, long ball, and their striker, the same target man that won the ball in the air last scenario, last situation. He does it again. Gets into the open space, knows what he's doing, wins the ball. But that's not where we make the mistake. We could have still stopped this play. As you can see, we have our one center back, a RDM, and a left back trying to guard the space in behind. But once this striker heads the ball down, as you see the first arrow is a small little arrow going backwards. He heads the ball down to his teammate, and then his teammate passes it right back to him. All he has to do is just make like a really straight run. His teammate passes it right back to him. And the reason he does that, and he's able to do that, is because, as you can see, the left back has pushed way too far into the middle. And he keeps pushing more into the middle, trying to cover this right side, because he's nervous, I guess, and leaves all the space in behind him. So all this striker has to do is head the ball down. It's a quick 1-2. He gets the ball back, top of the box, power shot. They score again. So it's really their MO. They're going to be looking for this quick 1-2 header to the little guy. Little guy tries to find somebody, play them in, power shot on top of the box. That's what these guys are going to be trying. But right here, if the left back, if even here that he's overshifted, when this header is made, if he would have just stayed with the guy that made the header instead of pushing more deep into the right side, as you can see the little block symbol pushes a little bit more deep. If he would have just stayed here with that runner, he would have been offsides, or he could have maybe even intercepted the pass. So we got to be a little bit more careful to not overshift and remember what side we're supposed to protect on defense. Because this left back is right next to the right center back. The right center back is going to be doing the exact same movement as him, and that's what is expected. The right center back is supposed to be guarding this right side. The left back is supposed to be guarding the left side. But he forgets, goes to the right side, leaves the left side all open. Easy goal. 4 goals scored on us in the knockout rounds, and we get eliminated. And like I said, this is the same teams we're going to be facing tonight. Same teams we're going to be facing in these TBL, EXL, and APC tournaments. So we just got to get used to what they're trying to do and try to adjust. So this next play is not from that elimination game, but it is from the tournament. It's a goal that we get scored on, I think, by PCN Newcastle. And they do the exact same thing that the other team was doing. They have a target man that they try to long ball to, and we weren't ready for this one either, and they end up scoring. We end up winning this game, luckily, but this was a goal that we easily should have stopped if we were more prepared. So right here, the play starts with the right center back fighting with the striker, and the striker ends up winning the ball in the air and heads it down to his left winger that's making a run in behind. And as you can see, the right back's already too far up. I think this was Pi in this matchup. And that's why I tell y'all got to guard not the space. You got to guard the man making the run, because that's who's going to score on you. You don't have to be worried about the green space in front. You got to be worried about this guy trying to get in behind you. Pi wasn't paying attention, so he runs right in behind, gets the header from his teammate, and then passes it to his other teammate, making an overlapping run. So let me slow it down right here because it gets a little bit complicated. First pass is the header. Second pass, after the left winger receives it, is on top of the box, played into his teammate making this run. And here is another situation where the left back overshifts, overadjusts, tries to cover too much of the right side, and gives up all the open space on the left side. So this was something that we did, or that we got caught doing a few times at left back in this tournament, was trying to do too much, trying to cover the right side too much, and forgetting our own responsibility. And this is how they end up scoring on this play. They get the ball at the top of the box. The left back is shifted over all the way, covering first post. Both the center backs are late to make a challenge. They're not able to get an interception. And the left back feels like he has to cover the space. Because of that, he leaves all the green area behind him. The man making the run, their right winger, just has to slowly drift into that area, wait for that left back to overcommit, and then boom, after the pass to the top of the box, the pass is on for, what's it called? The horizontal pass is on across the box. That's exactly what the opponent sees, passes it to his open teammate, easy goal right in front, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So it wasn't only the left back that made mistakes here. As you can see, the right back was way too high up, wasn't keeping track of his man. Both center backs weren't able to affect the play because they were caught off guard as well. So we got to really be careful with these over the top through balls, these long balls. They're going to just pass it back to their goalkeeper, and their goalkeeper's just going to send it L1X or just regular, or L1 square or just regular square, and just trying to find their target man up top. So we really got to be careful with this, not only at fullback, trying to make sure we mark the runs, but at center back, trying to at least win some of these aerial battles. Because in that tournament, we lost, I think, all of them. We were never really ready for this play. All right. So let me go ahead and go into the final scenario. This is a quick little mistake, quick little positioning adjustment we have to make as CDMs. I think this was Mr. Happy um, that was playing CDM at the moment. As you can see, the other team is breaking. They're on a counterattack. They have 4 attackers versus 4 defenders. So we need to make sure that we're marking the right runs and that we don't get pulled out of our positioning. But as you can see, the MR, the RDM, that has dropped in. He's playing sort of like a right center back. He does the right thing. He's in the right space. But whenever this first pass is made from the wing to the midfield, he gets baited. He bites and he presses up and forgets that he's playing like a right center back. So what that allows is all the space in behind for the other teammate. Looks like their striker, I believe so. You can see the little dash line and then with the X at the end of it. Other teammate just runs right around him. RDM pushes too high up, and it doesn't have to be even an over the top through ball. It's just a through ball on the ground. The second pass that's played into the box right to that X. And then right here, right here, you could say that the left center back should have been covering the inside space, but it's a whole defensive breakdown down the right side that puts us left center back in a bad situation. So as you can see, he tries to come back and cover after the pass is made to the person making the run inside the box. Tries to over adjust, tries to cover too much of the right side, and then all the guy that received the ball has to do is turn around, go back into the middle, all this open space, and he could shoot it, but instead he has another teammate, the right winger, making this run. He passes it to him, and then boom, easy goal, tap in. So it's not necessarily the left center back's fault. This was a defensive breakdown down the right side, but we need to be careful with not giving up the important space, which is the middle. Even in these situations, if they're going to take a shot, let them try to beat the goalie first post. But if we give up too much of this midfield area right on the penalty spot, it's going to be easy pickings for the other team. So we want to make it as hard as possible for the other team to score. And also, like I said, this all really started because the RDM got baited into stepping up into this first pass, leaving all the spacing behind. So it's not on one guy. We all have to play better as a team. But that's all the scenarios that I'm going to be going through today. Hopefully y'all guys have enough time to look at parts of this video before the tournament today so that we can get ready, because we're going to be facing a lot of the same teams and they're going to be doing a lot of the same things. So appreciate you guys stopping by. Try to keep this short and sweet. Let's hope that today we have better performance. And well, we had good in the group stages. Better defensive performance. I don't want to give up any of these same silly goals, these power shot merchants, So hopefully we do a little bit better today, and if not, I'll go back and check the footage and I'll be using it for another video. But hopefully we do good, and I can just use all our goal scoring opportunities for an offensive video. But I'll do that next week. This is probably the last one I'll be releasing this week, and hopefully it helps us get adjusted to what these other teams are trying to do. So appreciate y'all guys. I'll catch y'all later today, and I hope you have a good one. See you.